No one wanted to sit next to the alien woman. She stood awkwardly near the back of the shuttle terminal, clutching a small silver bag that looked too fragile for the weight of her long journey. Her skin shimmered faintly under the overhead lights, a kind of deep violet, like bruised dusk, and her eyes were large and glassy, reflecting the crowd that avoided her as if she were made of contagion. The shuttle was bound for Earth from the orbital station above New Kyoto, and the boarding line had formed in a long, impatient coil. Humans, androids, and the occasional alien filled the rows, murmuring in different tongues. But when the alien woman stepped into the cabin and started down the aisle, people suddenly found reasons to check their ticket numbers, adjust their bags, or move slightly away. Seats are assigned, the attendant reminded the crowd gently. Still, passengers traded glances, hoping for last-minute seat switches. No one wanted her as a seatmate. She didn't argue. She simply paused halfway down the aisle and looked at the empty seat marked 17B next to a window. Her slender fingers trembled slightly as she touched the seat's armrest. The other passengers avoided eye contact. Then, from the back of the shuttle, a human man entered, tall, a bit scruffy, with sun-worn skin and an old Earth jacket that looked like it had been through several planets' worth of storms. His name was Jonas Hale. He was just another working-class engineer, heading back to Earth after a 3-month contract fixing solar arrays on Europa's mining colony. Jonas glanced down the row, then checked his ticket. "That's all," he sighed. Of course. When he reached the seat, the alien woman immediately shifted as if preparing for another rejection. Her black pupils widened slightly. Jonas didn't say a word. He just nodded politely, stuffed his duffel under the seat, and sat down. The silence between them was immense, but it wasn't cruel. It was the kind of silence born from shared exhaustion, two travelers simply existing side by side. The shuttle engines hummed to life. As the craft lifted away from the orbital station, the window filled with the bright arc of Earth below, a blue marble threaded with light. Jonas glanced once at the view, then at his seatmate. She was watching too, her expression unreadable. "First time heading to Earth?" he asked. The alien woman blinked, startled. "Yes," she said softly. Her voice was melodic, like water poured into glass. "Not bad," Jonas said. "Gets crowded, though." She smiled faintly, the motion pulling oddly across her smooth, scaled cheeks. "Crowded does not frighten me," she said. He nodded, then leaned back, closing his eyes. The shuttle cruised for hours, gliding through the dark velvet of near-Earth space. Most passengers fell asleep. Some watched holoscreens. The alien woman sat very still, hands folded in her lap. Occasionally, she pulled out a small data crystal and looked at it as if it were sacred. Jonas woke halfway through the flight when the lights dimmed for nighttime mode. He noticed the woman shivering slightly, her thin garment doing little against the chill of the cabin. "Cold?" he asked. She hesitated, then nodded once. He unzipped his jacket and offered it silently. Her eyes widened. "You will give this to me?" "Yeah," he said, shrugging. "I can handle a few hours of cold." She accepted it cautiously, wrapping it around herself. The fabric swallowed her small frame, but the shivering stopped. "Thank you," she murmured. "Most humans do not approach." Jonas gave a small laugh. "Most humans are idiots." She looked at him, studying his face as though trying to decode it. "You are not like the others." "I get that a lot." He paused. "So what's your name?" "Lyra," she said. "Of the Anshari." "Jonas," he replied, extending his hand. She looked at it, then imitated the gesture. Her fingers were cool and light, the texture slightly rough, like fine coral. The handshake lasted a moment longer than either expected. As the flight went on, their conversation deepened. Lyra spoke hesitantly, choosing her words carefully. Her people, the Anshari, had only recently joined the Galactic Concord. Their homeworld had been devastated by industrial collapse decades ago, leaving most survivors scattered across colonies. Many species considered them unsightly due to the mottled texture of their skin and the unusual bone ridges around their eyes, features that humans found unsettling. She was coming to Earth as part of a cultural exchange program, a small delegation meant to foster understanding between Anshari and humans, but it was clear she had already encountered more prejudice than welcome. Jonas listened quietly. "People get nervous about what they don't understand," he said finally. "They see different and they think it's dangerous." "Fear," she murmured. Yes. On my world, we were taught that fear is a sickness that spreads if left untreated. That sounds about right. She looked down at her hands. Still, it is hard not to feel alone. Jonas nodded slowly. I get that too. He told her about working on distant mining stations where the only company was machines and recycled air. He told her about his daughter back on Earth, a bright teenager who sent him hollow messages full of art and laughter, but who barely remembered what her father's voice sounded like in person. By the time he finished, Lyra was smiling again, gently. You miss her, she said. Yeah, he admitted. More than anything, Lyra tilted her head. Then perhaps you understand better than most what it is to long for home. Halfway to Earth, turbulence struck. A warning light flashed across the cabin as the shuttle shook violently. The captain's voice came over the comms, calm but firm. We're encountering unexpected debris. Please remain seated and secure all belongings. Lyra gripped the armrest, eyes wide. Jonas saw genuine fear flicker there, not for herself, but for everyone. A sharp crack sounded as a fragment struck the shuttle's hull. The lights flickered. A child cried somewhere in the back. Jonas reached out without thinking, placing his hand over hers. Hey, we'll be fine. She stared at their joined hands. Then, slowly, she nodded. After several tense minutes, the turbulence passed. The captain announced that they were out of the debris field and approaching Earth's atmosphere. Applause rippled through the cabin, nervous but relieved. Lyra exhaled softly, still holding Jonas's hand. When she realized, she withdrew quickly, embarrassed. Forgive me, she said. Instinct? Don't apologize, Jonas said with a small grin. You kept me calm. As they began their descent, dawn spread across Earth's curve, a wash of gold and blue. Lyra pressed her face close to the window, awestruck. It is beautiful, she whispered. So much water. So much light, Jonas smiled. Yeah, home sweet home. For the first time, she looked at him without hesitation, as though truly seeing him, not just as a human, but as something more. Perhaps one day, she said softly, the Anshari will be welcomed here too. Maybe sooner than you think, Jonas said. When the shuttle landed, passengers stood and gathered their things. Many glanced at Lyra but still kept their distance. Jonas slung his duffel over his shoulder and turned to her. You got someone meeting you planetside? No, she said. I am to report to the conquered embassy. I can walk you there, he offered. If you don't mind company. Her eyes brightened slightly. I would like that. The arrival terminal on Earth was bustling. Advertising drones hummed overhead, and the smell of rain drifted through the open gates. People stared openly at Lyra as she walked beside Jonas, some whispering, some stepping aside. Jonas ignored them. At one point, a security officer stopped them, frowning. Sir, is this individual with you? Jonas looked the man squarely in the eye. Yeah, she's a diplomat. You got a problem with that? The officer hesitated, then waved them through. When they finally reached the transport station outside, Lyra stopped and turned to him. You have been kind, Jonas shrugged. You deserved better than how they treated you. Still, she said, few would have done what you did, sat beside me without question. He smiled faintly. Sometimes the right thing doesn't need words. Lyra looked up at the morning sky, where the last stars were fading. You remind me of something my mother used to say, she murmured. Oh yeah? What's that? She said the bravest hearts are those that sit in silence beside the unloved. Jonas chuckled softly. Your mom was smart. She was, Lyra said. You are too. As a transport pod arrived to take her to the embassy, Lyra hesitated at the door. She removed something from her bag, the small data crystal she had carried so carefully, and pressed it into Jonas's hand. What's this? He asked. A memory, she said. Of Anshar before it fell. Keep it, so that when others speak of us with disgust, you will remember there was once beauty. Jonas looked at it, then at her. I'll remember. She smiled, then climbed into the pod. As it lifted away, Jonas watched until it disappeared into the skyline. Only then did he realize that the space beside him felt strangely empty. Months later, an article circulated across Earth's news feeds. Anshari delegate speaks at United Conquered. We are more than our scars. The attached image showed Lyra standing before hundreds, her violet skin gleaming under the lights. She She spoke calmly, her voice carrying conviction. Behind her, projected on a vast screen, was a view of Earth from orbit, the same sight they had shared from their shuttle seat. Jonas smiled faintly when he saw it. On his desk sat the data crystal. When he inserted it into his holoprojector, a vision filled the room. Vast silver seas under twin suns, crystalline forests that shimmered like glass, and children with iridescent skin laughing in the surf. It was beautiful, and as Jonas watched, he whispered, "You were right, Lyra. Fear's just a sickness." "Maybe so,"